Hello. Okay, I want to make sure my microphone is working. I'm going to bring out your, comments. And then let me make sure the microphone is working correctly, and then I will get started. Mic. Okay, I got my Yeti microphone, and I'm going to open up. I got my notes. We're going to go through a whole bunch of fun stuff today, especially with the mid-year, kind of middle of the year check-in. I wanted to do this episode specifically because it's so important to check in and to take a minute to reassess what you need to be doing right now in the middle of the year. So let me just make sure, because I have no way of seeing comments or anything. So if you're on this, okay, I can't see comments from here. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to get started. I know people are going to join eventually, but I just want to. Hi, Nicole. Okay, good. I'm able to see comments. Hi, Aurelia. Hi, Ann Chris. Hi, Haley. Oh my gosh, all my boot campers are here on the call. You guys are awesome. I love you. So, all right, I'm just going to get started. Well, welcome to today's episode, whether you're watching it live, whether you're watching it on the podcast or recording. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in and take a minute to dedicate it to your YouTube channel and to the growth of your channel and for the improvement of your channel. So my name is Erika Vieira. I am the host of the YouTube Power Hour. And right now, what I want to do today is I want to give you a few things that you can look at right now in the middle of 2020. Hello, and for those of you on here live, let me know how the audio is going. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Kendi. Thank you. Hi, Natalie. Yes, I am using Ecamm Live. I get a lot of people asking me, what do I use for my lives and what do I use for my podcast? It's Ecamm Live. I do have the link in the description of my YouTube if you want to use that and check that out. So, all right. Like I was saying, it's July, right? Beginning of July. We are 6 months into the year, a full 6 months into a year that I would have to say is pretty unexpected for every single person on this planet. A lot of things happened that threw a wrench into our original plans. I know at the beginning of the year, it's such a big deal to set your goals, do your vision board, do all these things. 2020 is going to be my year. This is my year, right? And around, when was it, like March, that things went, like now there's going to be some other plans. So I think it's a really good idea right now to take a look at where you're at and then take a look at what the next 6 months could look like for you. Some of you listening and watching this might be on target to where your goals are. Some of you might have to have made some changes. Some of you might have to have, we're talking in the context of YouTube and YouTube channels. I know that a lot of you guys actually were able to prioritize your YouTube channels with this whole shutdown and everything going on because you actually had more time at home. Some of you, on the other hand, could not because you had kids at home and you were being a homeschool teacher, which you're like, I didn't sign up for this. And you were doing all the things, right? Whether working and possibly trying to do your YouTube channel. So I know for a lot of you, things might have changed. So I think it's a really good idea to take the time right now, beginning of July, we still have 6 months ahead of us to reassess, take a look at those goals that you had in January and decide, am I on track to where I want to be, right? Just because this whole situation happened, shutdown happened, it doesn't mean that your goals are any less important to you, right? It doesn't mean that what you want to achieve in life is going away. That's all still there. But the environment now has changed. So it's really important to now take a minute and possibly even think of this and the same importance that you do at the beginning of the year of maybe I should re-look at my goals, re-look at my vision for this year. Not to say to change the vision, but to possibly change how you get there or to change and reassess what you're going to do or prioritize or reprioritize in the middle of the year with 6 months ahead of us. One thing we all know for sure here, if you're here live, if you are listening to me on the podcast, is that the future is pretty uncertain, right? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months. We don't know what's going to happen in a week or two from now. So, but that's always the case. It's always the case. I do feel like we're all feeling it a little bit more now because our normal life just isn't, we're not able to plan like we used to. We can't necessarily plan for back to school. We can't necessarily plan for maybe back in the office or weddings or showers or things that you originally planned for. But one thing you do know is that you have your YouTube channel, or you have a YouTube channel you want to start, and you are able to make a decision on where you want that to fit into your life right now, right? So it might have changed. Like I said, some of you, and I know a lot of my boot campers, a lot of the boot campers here that are watching live, and some of you that aren't part of my bootcamp community, but you're part of the YouTube Power Hour community, you've experienced that, right? Like I said, some of you guys have been able to actually prioritize your YouTube channel because you have more time. I know a lot of people that have enrolled in the bootcamp, even within the last month or so, they said, right now, I always give everybody a pretty thorough form to fill out as a sense of reflection, but also to help me help my bootcampers better. And the question is, what's going on in your life right now, which really prompted you to enroll in the bootcamp. And for a lot of people, it's two things. It's interesting how some people perceive things, right? One is, well, I have less time now, so I really need a plan, and I really just want somebody to tell me what to do, right? So there's that one. It's like, I don't really have a lot of time to play around with things and fiddle around. I have less time now. Kids are home, but I want a plan, and I want an action plan, and I want that now. And then there's other people who say, well, I actually have more time right now. I'm home now. I'm not going on vacation. I'm not doing a lot of things that I would have been doing. So I actually am prioritizing my YouTube channel as something that I really, really want to focus on. And pretty much everybody across the board who has made that decision to join, and they're making the decision to prioritize your channels, they want to make their YouTube channel a job. They want it to be a source of income, because I think a lot of us are realizing, myself included, how important it is to be able to make money at home, whether it's through Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is, or it's finding some kind of a job online. I don't know what it is, but for those of you watching this live, for those of you joining my bootcamp, for those of you listening to the podcast, my podcast community, I'm pretty sure it's probably YouTube that you're thinking of. And so for a lot of people, it's like, I am going to make YouTube my vehicle to be able to make money online. And it's great. I mean, it's incredible. And I know that a lot of my students and clients that have maybe prioritized their YouTube channel last year, enrolled in the bootcamp last year, are super, super grateful that they did, because now they're on that actual path of legitimately quitting their jobs, or they already have. So it's like, really, I always say this too, the choices you make today are going to affect you 6 months from now, 3 months from now. My background has always been sales and marketing. That's always been one thing that has been ingrained in my head, of what you're doing today in regards to your pipeline, in regards to your sales, or whatever it is in life. You're going to see the effects of that 3 months from now, big time. So I know some of my students today, they enrolled in January, and they're like, oh my God, like all of a sudden now these videos are going viral, my channel is taking off. And I have one-on-one private client who things were kind of sluggish, and I wanted to actually bring this up as well as things that I'm seeing in the industry just across the board, because I do have access to many YouTube channels, the back end, not for my boot campers, but I have one-on-one clients that I do manage their channels, and I see all their analytics. So a lot of what I'm bringing you here in this podcast, here in the boot camp, is my knowledge based upon all of that data. I'm a data junkie. I love analyzing data. And that's part of what I love about YouTube, is that it gives you so much data, like an incredible amount of data. And I always tell my boot campers, I tell my clients, I will spend time geeking out on the data so you don't have to. But where was I going with that? Oh, what I've been seeing is numbers went down across the board for everybody. I mean, I don't want to say absolutes. I don't know for a fact everybody. Somebody might raise their hand and be like, not me, But for a lot of people, numbers went down around March-ish. And like I said, in the position that I'm in, being able to manage so many different channels from different niches, different sizes. I have people that I manage that have less than 1,000 subscribers. I have people that I manage that have over 400,000 subscribers, right? So different sizes. But the one thing consistent with these people is that they are consistent with their channels. So they're committed to their channels, they're consistent with their channels, they're uploading at least once a week. So that is one common ground amongst all of them. And they've gone through my program and my system and all that stuff. But I did see everybody go down in March, like almost everybody. The numbers went down. Except for one person, shout out to Action Jacqueline, and her numbers went up because she decided to go live every single day and do a live workout every single day. She has a fitness channel, and her channel did grow. Where was she at the start of, where was she at the start of quarantine? Like around, say around like 55 or 60,000. And then, you know, after like she did a 1 month challenge where she did live every day. At the end of that, she was at 75,000. So, but she has home workouts, right? And that was one of the things that I talked about. I know on one of these lives, I have my ebook, my 32-page ebook. It's like, if there's something that you can serve people right now, do it. And so she took that advice and she definitely grew. But, so anyways, what I was saying is that a lot of people across the board saw a drop in their numbers. Almost everybody. Okay. So if you did, that's totally normal. I saw numbers drop in March and April, and then I have to say June is where I've seen numbers start to blow up again. I am seeing numbers like skyrocketing again. I don't know what it is. It could be the fact that I think, my suspicion, this is just my theory, there's no hard data for this, but my suspicion is that in March, I think a lot of people were almost kind of shell-shocked with everything that's going on, and they were glued to the news. They were glued to channels, whether it's on TV or on YouTube or Twitter, whatever it is, that was kind of updating people on the news, and they just did not feel like watching content about fashion or makeup or style or whatever it is, or lifestyle, or whatever it is. But I do think people they're kind of slowly getting back into the groove of things, not completely. And I think a lot of them, and myself included, I mean, I find myself watching a lot more makeup channels and fashion channels and things like that just for fun, because it's like, okay, I'm ready to get out in the world again, you know? But, and I think a lot of people might be feeling the same thing. So I did see numbers in June just boom, like skyrocket. And so I think, like what I was saying before, what you do 3 months ago will affect what happens today. So whether it's doing the work, it's, you know, like some of you guys on this call right now, my boot campers, it's enrolling and going through that first month. Those of you guys in the boot camp know those first 4 weeks are pretty intense. It's really setting the foundation of your channel. And this is for everybody, people that have thousands and tens of thousands of subscribers, or people that are just starting off. It's pretty intense. So whether it's doing that work, whether it's doing the work on your own, whether it's learning how to edit, my point is that what you do today, as long as it's moving towards your goal, is going to help you out 3 months from now. So the only thing that's not going to help you out is doing nothing, you know, sitting on a dream or an idea of, I need to start my YouTube channel. I need to start my YouTube channel. And literally doing nothing 3 months from now or 2 months from now, you're going to wish you did. Or it's kind of like just going through the motions and uploading and being consistent, but just not making changes, not pivoting, not having a strategy. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm wasting all this time. So that's why right now, 6 months into this year, we're having this 6 months check-in so that you can look at, and I'm going to give you, I have it all right here. I'm going to give you a list of things for you guys to do, kind of like a little worksheet type situation. Just grab a notebook, do this, somewhere in a nice little notebook or whatever. Not like my boot campers are used to. I have like whole workbook set up. This was just something I came up with. I wanted to do for my podcast community, the YouTube Power community, because I think it's so important. And okay, so like I said, I spend every morning, I get so excited and I wake up going straight to YouTube and looking at the metrics for my one-on-one clients. So the people that I manage their channels for. It's the first thing I do every morning. I love it. I love data. I love seeing where their numbers are at, where their videos are at, how they're doing, all that good stuff. And as many of you know, like with YouTube, the metrics kind of change depending on how long the video has been out. So I love doing it. I probably spend a good 2 hours a day in the YouTube studio studying analytics. So it's on my mind all the time. And so what I'm sharing you now is is the numbers that I want you to focus on and that are really, really important. And I always tell my clients this, I tell my boot campers this, I I study the numbers so you don't have to. I do feel that, and I don't want to contradict myself, but I do feel that as creators, sometimes what I find is creators will sometimes get bogged down in the data, and I don't want you to do that. I want you focusing on your audience, your bootcampers knows, your true fan, your niche, all the content that you're creating. But I do want to give you some direction so that you are able to track it and know if you're headed in the right direction. And Nicole says, so excited I joined the bootcamp. I'm excited to see where I will be 3 months from now. My goal before the bootcamp was 5,000 subs and monetization, but now you're feeling confident at hitting 10,000. Yes, that's awesome, Nicole. I'm so excited for you. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to go into the YouTube studio and go into the dashboard. And on the dashboard, you're going to click on the right-hand side, or it says channel analytics. Well, I don't know if the right-hand side is channel analytics, but on there it says channel analytics. Click that. And when you click that, on the right-hand side, there's going to be a drop-down menu where you can choose a time frame. Just choose 2020. That's going to make it really easy because we're basically looking at everything year to date, right? And so this is a metric that I want you to write down and put it in your journal, put it somewhere where you can refer back to it in a month. I don't want you obsessing over it, but I definitely want it somewhere where you can write down. And this is a good idea for you to do, I would say, every quarter, every 3 months, but definitely at the beginning of the year and in the middle of the year, which we're doing right now. So, okay. This is an easy one. Views. What are the total number of views that you had in the last 6 months? Subscribers. This is a big one, right? How many subscribers have you grown in the last 6 months? And if those of you are listening to this and you haven't started your channel yet, then you need to do a little soul searching and decide, do you want to prioritize your YouTube channel for this year? Also, I had to get a quick drink of water. Also, for those of you that are watching this live or listening to it on the podcast, if you're doing this exercise, do me a favor, take a picture of it and then tag me at Beauty in the Vlog on Instagram, or comment here and let me know that you're doing it, because I want to see you guys. I want to see this activity for you guys, because I do think hopefully that's my way of keeping you accountable of actually doing it. And the other thing that we're doing too for my boot campers, I know you guys, we have the challenge going on right now in the boot camp, so you guys can go ahead and post this in the boot camp Facebook group as well. Okay, so views and subscribers, and then the average view duration. So the average view duration is basically giving you on average the watch time for each video. So you want to pay attention to that. YouTube growth, at the end of the day, it's all about accumulating watch time. A lot of these other metrics that I love to look at, like the click-through rate, the average view duration percentage, those types of things, they're important, but the ultimate goal of all that is to accumulate as much watch time as you possibly can. So looking at the average view duration, on average for each of your videos is really, really important. You want to aim for, I would say, you want to aim for at least 6 or 7 minutes. That's what you want to aim for. So if you're a lot lower than that, you need to look at your video average view duration percentage, because without looking at your channel, your analytics, I don't know, but you want to look and see, are my videos just a little too short? People are watching about half of them, or 40 to 50% of them. Maybe you can make them a little bit longer to extend that watch time. But I don't want you to make that choice if, when you're looking at that average view duration percentage, meaning on average the percentage on each video people are watching, if that's a low percentage, because you might have on average a, say, 6 minute per video watch time, but maybe you're doing 20-minute videos, so people aren't even watching half of them. So that's where watch time and average view duration and the percentage come into play. So when you're looking at it, if you are not at 6 or 7 minutes, and you're a lot lower than that, you can say, well, if you're a lot lower than that and your videos are, say, 8 minutes long or 7 minutes long, and people are only watching 20% of them, then you need to reevaluate the content. The content itself needs to be reevaluated. But if you're someone that's actually doing pretty good and you're looking at, say, your average view duration percentage is at 50%, but your average view duration, meaning the average watch time per video, minutes wise is, say, like 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes, then you could probably make your videos longer. So I'm hoping that's making sense too. You might want to re-listen to that a couple of times, because I know it's a little bit tricky, but it is so important. What it ultimately comes down to is accumulating watch time on your channel. But the answer isn't always creating longer videos, because if you're creating longer videos and people aren't necessarily watching them, then you're kind of doing a lot of extra work and you're still not getting the watch time. But if you are doing the work and you're kind of one of my boot campers here who's doing the work and you're finding that percentage is getting higher, then you can experiment with longer videos. So definitely take a look at that. Take a look at that average view duration on average for each of your videos. And then you want to look at the click-through rate. So the click-through rate, I've talked about it time and time again. I've talked about it in my last live that I did here on YouTube about the clickable effect. The click-through rate is so important in regards to getting people onto your channel and into your videos. And you can look at what your average is for year to date if you go through the steps that I just detailed. And so I would say, looking at the numbers, you want to have at least 6%-ish, 5 to 6% on average. Ideally per video, it's nice to see higher than 6%. But if you're on average like 6%, I'd say that's pretty good, just because it's taking an average of all of your videos. Videos that maybe didn't do that well versus videos that did do well. But I would say, looking at it overall, that's a nice number to aim for. But individually, per video, you do want to aim for, I would say, higher, like 7%, 8% at least. But on an average for, I'd say, year-to-date, look at 6% is probably pretty good. Okay, so those are the numbers I want you to take a look at and write them down. And then the other thing I want you to take a look at is the #1 video that had the most views, right? Look at that video and see which video since January of me uploading that has the most views. And then you want to look at, depending on how often you upload. If you're somebody that uploads 3 times a week, then you want to look at more. If you're someone that only uploads once a week, then maybe look at less. But I would say look at between 5 to 10 of your highest viewed videos since January. And you want to start to see patterns. You want to see which are the videos that seems to be the most watched on my channel, which are the ones that I'm getting the most views from. And that's going to give you an indicator of what your audience and what people in general on YouTube are liking, that they're attracted to, right? And they're watching. So I know a lot of people, what happens is people get really granular when they're into the analytics and they'll look at each individual video and this and that, but it's really good to take a minute and look at the whole picture, the bigger picture of where your YouTube is doing and where it's at. And it's a really good idea to do that. So right now, what I would say, do that. Look at the 5 to 10 highest viewed videos on your channel since January. And also, what can happen too is, interesting enough, is that sometimes it could be a video that you uploaded at the end of last year and it happened to take off beginning of this year. That happens on YouTube. That's why I always say it's like, what you're doing now is going to have an effect 2 months, 3 months from now, because sometimes, very interestingly enough, there's this phenomenon that when you upload on YouTube, sometimes a video doesn't actually take off until 30 days from now, or 60 days, or even 90 days from now. So you will see that happen, especially if you're creating really good content and you're connecting with your audience. You will see these videos randomly pop up. It happens with my clients and my students in the bootcamp all the time. So it might be a video that you uploaded last year and it happened to be taking off really well, and that's fine. That should be included, because what you're really wanting to do is trying to figure out what is it that people are watching. What are people, and usually your highest view videos are the ones that are going to bring you the most subscribers. So those are also the types of people that are coming to your channel and subscribing. So if you happen to have a channel and you have different types of videos, you're trying to figure out your niche, but you're finding like, oh, well, this type of video is where a lot of people are coming from, then those are the types of subscribers that you have, like it or not, right? So it's really up to you what you want to do with that, but it gives you an idea of, yes, this is the type of content maybe I should double down on. Maybe I should do some follow-ups. Maybe I should do some more on this type of content, because it does seem to be the types of videos that people like. Okay. Another sip of water. And then the last thing I want you to take a look at, and this is something I don't think a lot of people do, is take a look at the total number of videos that you actually did. A lot of people think that they're being consistent, and they're not. A lot of people are thinking that they're super busy and they've spent a lot of time on their YouTube channel, and they realize, oh, like that month I only uploaded 3. Okay, that much better, I uploaded 5, and then I went back down to uploading only 2 because of this and that. So take a look at the total number of videos that you've done since January of this year. And if you're watching this live, do me a favor, like it. It helps the algorithm. Keep commenting. It definitely helps the algorithm. And if you are watching this on the YouTube, comment below as you're watching and let me know if this is something you're going to do. Let me know if you're going to go ahead and do this little exercise. I also would love for you to do, if for those of you live, if you come back here on this video and let me know what you found by the results. If you're like, wow, like, I didn't realize this, or, you know, this solidified what I was already thinking and what my instinct was telling me. So definitely come back and comment that. Okay, so like I said, trying to go through and find the total number of videos that you've done. And now with all that data, what I want you to do is I want you to now to analyze that and reassess it. And not reassess, but assess that information. So are you at right now, 6 months into the year, where you thought you would be? And are you on track right now to hit your goal at the end of the year? You know, the end of 2020. So by January 1st of 2021, will you be where you want to be? So you want to look at the total number of subscribers gained and say, okay, my goal at the end of the year is 10,000 subscribers, and I gained, 200 this first 6 months. There's definitely a gap to fill, right? It's like, okay, what can you do to increase those numbers? And YouTube is a bit unpredictable. So it's hard to say which video is going to go viral. We can do a lot of work to create really, really good content so that your chances of going viral are better. And that's the whole point of my bootcamp, is that you're creating content that is for a targeted audience, that you have a specific niche, you become known for something, and that your chances of going viral are higher. Right? And because those videos that get more views, that's what's going to bring more subscribers. So what you want, so it is unpredictable. You can't just say, well, just because you only gained 600 subscribers in January through June, that you're not going to gain 5,000 the last half of the year, or even 10,000, right? A couple videos can take off. You can really, hit a nerve, and boom, you could be growing very quickly. And that happens all the time. But what you want to do is really, that's why I want you to look at the number of videos that you're doing, because if you're not as consistent as where you want to be, or you in your head are prioritizing your channel, but it's not actually coming through action, there's a disconnect there. So you want to look at the number of videos, and do you need to up the number of videos? Because every single video that you create is another chance for it to get picked up by the algorithm. It's for another chance for it to just be out there and slowly gain views. There's different types of content. There's content that's very searchable, and that type of content, utility type content, will get searched over time. And it's sometimes there's these videos that, wow, I'm glad I uploaded that last year, and now that video has 60,000 views, and it just kind of accumulated over time, and it brought me, wow, look, that one brought me 2,000 subscribers, and I didn't even notice it. So it's like, or you did notice, and you're like, I didn't realize that's where my subscribers were coming from, is that one video. So it's like every video that you create is another chance for you to get picked up by the algorithm, to get more views. So do you need to up your upload schedule? Do you need to add another video a month? Or do you just need to reprioritize your channel and say, I am committed. I am going to make that commitment. And so for me, goals are great, but I don't know. I think that I do know. What really works for myself, what really works for I found my students that are really successful is commitment. People love to go out and create the vision boards and buy the prettiest, newest Erin Condren planner. I'm guilty of that too. And make it all pretty and do the stickers and do this and do that and spend like 17 hours on their vision board. But they're not but then 2 months later, they're like, what happened to that? What happened to that commitment to your YouTube channel? You haven't uploaded a video in 4 weeks. So it boils down to a level of commitment. How committed are you? That's what it boils down to, because you achieving those goals is only going to come from action, right? And making that commitment and prioritizing things is ultimately what's going to get you to where you want to be. So if you are saying, I want to be at 10,000 subscribers at the end of the year, it's going to take you prioritizing your YouTube channel. Maybe it's going to mean, and it's like, sorry, it's going to have to happen. Maybe it's going to be, you're not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. You're not, and I think for a lot of us, I think that's why a lot of people are saying, well, might as well focus on YouTube, because I'm not going on that vacation. I'm not going to be doing this trip. I'm not going to be doing that activity. I'm not going to be, doing this. But it's like, it's a matter of prioritizing. Say, you know what? I want to focus on this. I want to focus on my YouTube channel. The next 6 months, I can make a big difference. I know what's going on right now. I'm still kind of in quarantine, this and that, or I have less time, I have more time, but my goal has not changed. My vision has not changed. So how am I going to change, right? How am I going to change my actions to get me to that goal? Okay, so I want you to take a look at how often you're uploading. Do you need to up that? I need to take a look at your numbers and then write it down. And then now have that level of commitment for the next 6 months. That's the whole point of this exercise, is to basically get you recommitted to your channel if you kind of lost track, and also have a clear picture of where you want to be. And let's see, I have my sheet here, making sure I'm not missing anything. Let's see. And a lot of you guys are on here commenting. That's awesome. You guys are chatting with each other. I love this. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, okay. So I do want to make a comment on consistency. So for those of you, many of you I know have watched my free masterclass. And if you haven't yet, definitely check it out. erikavieira.net/. Oh, hi, Shelly. Oh my God. One of my original boot campers. How are you doing, Shelly? Oh, I love Shelly. She's amazing. Nice to see you. And Irene too, one of my original boot campers. Nice to see you too. And Yayone Nicole. You guys were like the OGs back in, when was it? January of 2018, my first boot camp. So I love seeing you guys here. Okay. So a note about consistency. So I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in regards to the more videos that you create, the more opportunity you have to go viral, right? So if you haven't seen my free masterclass, I touch on that about consistency, and you hear that from everybody. Consistency is the way to go. Consistency is, that's the key to success on YouTube. I don't believe that. I don't believe that consistency is the key to success on YouTube. It is part of the success, but you can't have success on YouTube with just consistency, because consistency without a strategy is going to get you nowhere, and it leads to burnout. Trust me, I get so many people that come to me, that enroll in my bootcamp, that come and essentially sign up for my coaching, and they've literally been consistent. They're like, I am consistent. I am uploading twice a week without fail for the last year, and I still only have 200 or 100 subscribers. I'm like, no. So that's not the whole part of the puzzle. So definitely check out my free masterclass, erikavieira.net/masterclass if you haven't checked that out yet. Let me make sure I am not missing anything. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Next, I'm going to go into a couple other things. But yeah, so about the consistency is that YouTube really is a cumulative effect, and it's really cumulative. Like, some people do get lucky and out of the gate they will blow up, but it really is a cumulative effect, because the more that you do, the better that you get at this platform, the better you get at editing, the better you get at being in front of the camera, being natural in front of the camera, being yourself in front of the camera, the better you get at understanding what your audience wants. So that action is really, really important, and the consistency is important because of better sharpening your skills. And also, each additional video you create is another chance for your channel to grow in subscribers and for your videos to go viral. So okay, let's see. Shelly says, you just started up YouTube again. You've been going through the bootcamp binder. Yes, that's what's awesome about my bootcampers, is they've got this incredible, I don't know how many pages of workbooks and worksheets and things for their YouTube channels. And I know a lot of my boot campers will go back and redo the whole part and just revisit it like certain times of the years, because you have indefinite access to the course portion of it. For those of you actually within the last year and a half that enroll in the bootcamp, you have indefinite access to the course and all the updates. But okay, so next up, I'm just going to give you guys, so hopefully that was helpful for you. Like I said, tag me on Instagram if you're doing this, at Beauty in the Vlog, and also comment in the YouTube channel. Come here to the YouTube video and comment. But now I'm going to give you guys an update on me, my business, and the podcast, and where that's headed now in the future. Kind of my little check-in with you guys. I love kind of every now and then, I know most weeks it's just me providing you guys the interviews, which have been amazing. I hope you guys have really enjoyed some of the interviews that I have worked on for 2020. We just had Lydia Elise Million, which was a fantastic interview. We had Shalene Johnson, who is somebody I admire so much. Dr. Dre, who blew up on YouTube. We have so many, and we have so many more. I have Angie from Hot and Flashy is coming up. Who else? I have so many people. I mean, we have just amazing people. Erin Busby, who is a leader in the over 40 fashion space. So many awesome. And then also some of my boot campers have been on, which is really awesome to see. So I love that. So the podcast has been doing really well. And so what I'm going to be doing is, essentially speaking, I am going to be right now is a time that I'm starting to gear up to record more interviews. So those of you guys that have been listening to the podcast since the beginning, you probably know that I batch record all my interviews. So I like to have a period of a month or 2 months where actually that's not true. It's about like 2 or 3 months where I'm literally going hard and recording interviews every single day. And then I'm done for the rest of the year. And so in the past, I have had seasons and parts where like I had to take off, a couple months of the podcast so that I can, catch up on all those interviews and record those interviews for you. But my goal is actually there's no time where there's going to be no new interviews. So last year, I think I had 2 months where I replayed old interviews because it gave me the opportunity to catch up and record all the new ones. But my goal is not to have that time period where I'm not having any new episodes. So that's my goal, and I should be able to do it. I'm going to explain next because I'm going to talk about my business and an update on my business and all that, but that should be fine, and I will be having all new episodes, every week, so you guys won't even notice a difference. Actually, it'll just be me because I like to only record once a year. So I'm gearing up to the time that I'm going to record. So my ask for you is if there's anybody that you would love to see on the podcast, like you've seen the types of people that I've had on the podcast. Jen said, I loved your interview with Natalie Barbu. Yeah, she was amazing. If you've seen the types of women I've had on the podcast, Natalie Barbu, Bianca Renee, like I said, now I can't even remember who I've had on. I've had on so many people. Kenna, Jordan Shrinks. I'm like looking on my Instagram because it's going to help me remind me like who I've had on the podcast. What's her name? She's a fitness. Lisa J Makeup, Whitney Hendricks, Morgan Stewart. What is her name again? Now I forget. Oh, Rebecca Louise Fitness, hers. I loved her. I loved her so much. So many amazing interviews. So that gives you an idea of the types of people that I'm looking for. So if there's anybody that you want me to have on, I have a form in the notes of the podcast show notes and down in the description of this YouTube video. So definitely fill out that form or just leave a comment on this video. Ideally in the comment on the actual video, not necessarily in the chat, just because it's gonna be hard for me to go back, or DM me, or but that form is probably the best way to make sure it doesn't get lost. Anybody you want me to have on the show. So people like women that have had really interesting, amazing stories. Oh, Sarah Therese was another one that was absolutely amazing. So really interesting stories, people that have blown up, like Kenna or Dr. Dre, people that who are in interesting niches. Doesn't always have to be, I definitely like to have people on that are YouTubers full time, that, have a couple 100,000 subscribers or more, but that's not always the case. I do have people sometimes that have less subscribers and they have super interesting stories. So, any suggestion for that? That's my ask for you. Definitely let me know who you want, because this podcast is for you. And comment below if you're, or if you're listening to this and you're one of those OG podcast listeners who remembers, my first interview with Melanie Murphy, my first couple interviews with Carissa Pukas, Nikki Philippi, Janine Amapola, Amber Scholl, Karina Garcia. If you're one of those people that was here, like this video, comment below, because I want to thank you for being with me for, it's been over 3 years for this podcast, and it's literally changed my life, this podcast. Really, it has. And I'm always one of the top 10 marketing podcasts on iTunes. I got to speak at a podcasting conference earlier this year in February, Podcast Movement. I was asked to be a speaker talking about building a community with your podcast. So thank you so much for, especially all of you that are listening. Thank you. I cannot tell you from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for just being here. And my goal is to make this a podcast for you. That's why I started it from the beginning. There was nobody talking about YouTube on a podcast. There was nobody talking about women YouTubers. Now there's a lot of other people coming onto the scene and doing their thing, and that's awesome. Good for them, but there's nobody doing it. And I wanted to share the stories because I found the stories to be so inspirational. I saw the stories to be, especially now, right? We're in a moment in time where we're realizing having a business online is really, really a good thing, really important. And these stories are so inspirational, and especially for women. So just thank you. And if you're one of those people that have been with me from the podcast from the beginning, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Comment below, let me know. Also, let me know your favorite, your most favorite interview so far. So that's going on with the podcast. The other thing that kind of a check-in with the podcast is here on YouTube. And those of you that remember the podcast from way in the beginning, I did do this at the beginning. I did have some episodes that I had the YouTube video as well, but I stopped that because that's when I got pregnant, I had my babies, and I just could only do so much. So adding a video element of it just definitely took an extra amount of work, and it was either quit everything altogether or figure out what I could do and what I couldn't do. And in the back of my mind, though, I always knew that I wanted to come back onto YouTube and bring these podcasts onto YouTube with a video. And so I decided to do it end of last year. So you would say it was kind of a 2020 thing. And granted, to be totally honest, I would have to say that based on the numbers and the download numbers, 90-something% of you guys still are on the podcast, but I'm getting a lot of new viewers from YouTube. I know some of you guys have like to kind of subscribe to both. So some of you have the video, you like to watch the videos. Some of you guys like to listen, and I'm here on every platform. So whatever you want to do, if you prefer to listen, awesome. If you want to watch on YouTube, awesome. If you're, listening and you want to come say hi on the YouTube channel and comment, that's there for you too. So yeah. So I would say the vast majority of you are still listening based on download numbers on the podcast. I mean, I get thousands of downloads for every single episode. So a lot of you guys are still on the podcast, which is awesome. But now there's the YouTube. And so I'm going to keep on doing this with the videos. I really enjoy it because I think it's fun to be here on YouTube. I enjoy being able to actually see my guests and have that interaction. I like for you guys to be able to see them. And then the other thing I've been doing new with the podcast is turning snippets of it and putting it onto IGTVs. So that's also something new I've been doing here in 2020. I've also been doing snippets of my coaching calls in the bootcamp on IGTV as like little informational tips for you guys on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, definitely do that at Beauty and the Vlog. And I have a lot of IGT videos IGTV videos of snippets of the podcast and snippets of my coaching calls and my lives like this. So that's also another place I've been experimenting with video and this YouTube format. The other thing I've been doing, which I am going to commit to continuing doing for now at least, is going live here every single month on the YouTube channel. So I love going live. I go live twice a month for my boot campers. I mean, that format's a little bit different because my boot campers are able to submit their links and questions ahead of time, and it's more about an interactive because we do it on Zoom, so we all see each other, we chat. Shout out to my boot campers who, you guys come on those calls and they're so much fun. I mean, granted, they're a little epic. They're like 90 minutes, sometimes up to 2 hours, but we timestamp it. We make it hopefully easy. But that's a different format. That's a little bit more interactive because I watch their videos and everything ahead of time and I give my feedback. But I love going live. I love interacting with you guys. I love hanging out with you guys. So I know not everybody has a chance to also be in my boot camp. So I want to be able to have a chance to interact with all of my listeners on the podcast. And so this live is my way to do that. So, are you taking questions here? No, more the live. I mean, I could take questions about what I'm talking about, but in regards to me spending time and reviewing channels, like I spend several hours before my live calls in my boot camp ahead of time reviewing all the links on the channels. So that's reserved for my boot campers, but I could definitely answer questions here on some of the calls depending on what the topic is. I also am sensitive to the fact that this is a podcast episode as well, so I try to make it really succinct and easy for people to watch and listen to as well. But like I said, I love interacting with you, answering questions about the related topic that I'm talking about also. So great question. Okay, so that's going on with the podcast. So I am going to be recording new episodes, I would say next month. So I'll be spending a good 3 months or so, and you'll see me highlighting it on my, if you guys remember, I highlight on my Instagram whenever I'm interviewing someone. I'm like, hey, like I'm interviewing this person, it's gonna be fun, a little sneak peek. So that is also another way you can get a sneak peek on who I'm interviewing. Follow me on Instagram and watch my stories. You guys are saying you guys like the visual of the YouTube. That's great. Silky Sack says, I remember when you were Beauty in the Vlog. Yes, I was Beauty in the Vlog originally, and I changed that name because I'm not just beauty. For me, it's just women YouTubers. I don't care what niche you are, all niches, not just beauty. I started Beauty in the Vlog because I thought it was a cute name, and I was like, oh, I could interview beauty YouTubers, but now that it's so much more than that. So Makeup by Tiffany D would be great. Okay, great suggestion. I think I have reached out to her before, though. I have reached out to a lot of people, but I keep doing it, you know. And there's also Jade Dharmawazga. I don't think I pronounced her last name. I did ask her, and I didn't get a response last time, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to ask again. Try again, right? So I love all these suggestions. And that's the thing, too. I do a lot of my own work in regards to finding people that I can have on my podcast. So there's people that I love. Like, I love Dr. Dre's channel. I think it's amazing. So I knew I wanted to have her on the channel. And who else? Like, Whitney Hendricks is somebody that I've been watching for a long time. So I knew I wanted to have her on the channel. But other people, like, I've never really heard of, like Sarah Therese is somebody. I didn't know who she was. Lydia Elise Millen, I heard her, but she wasn't like somebody I watched. So that's why sometimes some of your suggestions are really helpful, because it's opening up me to people I've never always heard of. But I do love, I do love hearing about new people. So, okay. Yes, Jen, you are an OG podcast listener, one of my boot campers too. Yes, I love you guys. This is awesome. Okay. Let me get back on track. So, yeah, so next up, just talking an update on my business, on what's going on with that. So I have made a few changes to my business, the boot camp, which for those of you guys that have been boot campers in the past or just follow me for a while and kind of follow my business, I would hold boot camps a couple times a year. And to be honest, part of the reason why I did that is because I had only the bandwidth to do that. It was really me, myself, and I. And I did have a podcast editor at that point. But one of the big things for me that I was working on the end of last year and the beginning of this year was really getting a great team. Huge shout out to Sarah and Lisa. I know you guys are going to be watching this. I have some awesome team members, and that has been huge for me to be able to do things like not have a dead period of time where I have 2 months without brand new episodes, because I'm catching up trying to record new episodes, so it's like it's allowed me to do. I'm not centered, sorry. I want to make sure, because I'm going here with the microphone, but it's just trying to work it out. Okay, so my team has allowed me to do things that I wasn't able to do before. So before I was only able to run the boot camp like once a year, twice a year, but what I'm doing now this year is I am periodically opening up spaces to the boot camp. So it's not necessarily available all the time, but I'm opening up spaces a little bit more often, a few less spaces, every month or every other month or so, a few spaces there, and kind of doing the boot camp a continuous style so that the students can continue on with the coaching calls and the Facebook community. We're doing challenges in there. There's just so many things that I've been able to do now because I have an amazing team. And then even also updating the curriculum inside of the boot camp, I'm adding just new things in there all the time, like every month. And for the boot campers, for people for the last year and a half that enrolled in the boot camp, you have indefinite access to those materials in the boot camp. So if you haven't gone in there recently, definitely go in there, and there's new stuff in there. But I've been able to do those types of things because I have a team now. And so with my business, it's allowing me to serve more people in the bootcamp community, to have more boot campers that I'm able to serve. And also the other thing I'm doing is also taking on a few more one-on-one clients. Like I mentioned earlier, I have the back-end analytics and I manage several different channels. And that's more of kind of a partnership. That's more people that are looking to really invest in their channels, but also have somebody in there who they can talk to like every single day or however often they need. And we do calls every month. So that's kind of a separate thing, which isn't really actually advertised to the public, but I am thinking of maybe doing that at some point later on. So if that is something for you, if you're somebody who is doing YouTube full time, you say you have over 50,000, 100,000 subscribers, you're doing it full time, or maybe you're somebody who is like I said earlier, you're not there yet, but you are fully committed, you're willing to make the investment, you're willing to put in the time, then that you can DM me on Instagram, and we can chat and see. It takes a considerable amount of time for me, and so that's why I only have so many spots open. But as I have my team and I build it out, I'm able to have them take on some of the things that I'm doing. I'm able to do things like focus in on and do these lives and focus in on my boot campers and record amazing interviews for you guys, so I don't have 2 months period where I don't have new content. So, that's a good lesson for all of you guys too. It's like I paid for a podcast editor and also a podcasting course when I wasn't making money from my podcasts, and I just said, you know what, it's going to be a investment in my future. I was very, very confident in my abilities to achieve my goals and do what I wanted to do. So it was a little scary to hire that first podcast editor, but it was actually what allowed me, I know I mentioned this before, it's what allowed me to start the bootcamp when I did, January of 2018, with a 3-month-old, a 4-month-old, and a 2-year-old. So having people on my team has been huge. And for me, from a business perspective, that has been really, really a game changer for me, for my business. So that's kind of a half year check-in for you guys on my business. And then as far as the boot camp goes, as I said before, it's just been really amazing. And I do bring in guests periodically inside of the boot camp, which has been really, really fun. And we're doing a challenge right now. I'm adding new content into the bootcamp materials all the time, and able to do some really amazing lives and the coaching calls. So for all that, that's been really, really awesome and going really well. So if the bootcamp actually sounds like something, if you're listening to this and you're one of those people that say, hey, these next 6 months, I am going to be prioritizing my YouTube channel. I'm reprioritizing it. I'm looking at my numbers, and maybe I wasn't able for certain reasons or other able to dedicate the time to my YouTube channel, but now I can, and the bootcamp sounds like something that you wanted to be a part of, then definitely check out the waitlist. Add your name in the waitlist, erikavieira.net/bootcamp. And I have to say, the type of people that I'm finding are in the bootcamp right now are those people that are prioritizing their YouTube channel. That's what it comes down to. They're prioritizing their YouTube channel, and they also prioritize, not their prioritizing YouTube channel, yes, but also they want it to be their full-time job. So if those two things resonate with you, then you'll be in good company with the other boot campers, because for those of you here live on this call that are in the bootcamp, you can attest to that. Like, everyone in there, they're either doing YouTube full time, they want to do YouTube full time, or YouTube is a priority right now for them. So if that resonates with you, then definitely go on to the waitlist, erikavieira.net/bootcamp. Somebody asked, do I teach editing in the bootcamp? I do not personally teach editing in the bootcamp. About a month ago, I did have professional YouTube editor Emily Olson in there. She did a live session, which is recorded in the bootcamp. So there is one lesson on editing. It doesn't go super deep into it, but my whole thing with like editing and things like that, there's so much to editing, so many different programs. So the editing portion isn't something I teach, but it's something that you could definitely find resources for online, and depending on what your individual softwares. And also, like I said, I have Emily inside of the bootcamp, so she does answer questions for my boot campers regarding editing. And that's also really cool about the community. I see people doing like, hey, somebody had a question, my lighting looks terrible, what do you guys think? And then somebody's in there. I do a lot of my boot campers too, which is really cool, are editors, or they have a business in editing or social media, so they help each other out, because there's a lot of really incredible people inside there. Like, there are people that are doing this full time. There are people that, maybe they're in social media, maybe they are a professional editor, maybe they are in marketing, but they have a YouTube channel for one reason or the other. So you can get those answers. Awesome, very supportive. Oops, my microphone changed. Uh-oh. Does it sound different to you? Hopefully not. Hopefully it doesn't sound, but I'm wrapping up anyways. So if that does sound like something you guys are interested in, hi Christine. The bootcamp has been phenomenal. I learned and grew so much more than I expected. It's been amazing having you, Christine. Noelle, the bootcamp is amazing. Noelle is a professional circus performer, and she is doing some amazing things inside of the bootcamp. And I know, Christine, you've been wanting to start your channel, and I'm so excited for you to be able to start your channel with the help and support of the bootcamp community. But so that's it. That is this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. A little activity for you in there to be able to do a mid-year reassessment, see where you're at, see what's going on. Right now, 6 months into the year, we had a curveball thrown at us, all of us. So that's why I think it's even more important now to do this exercise, to reassess and take a look, because you might have to, your goals and visions most likely are the same. I don't want you to change your goals. I don't want you to make them any less because of what we're going through right now, but your actions might have to, what you do might have to change, right? So our circumstances, I think all of our circumstances have changed or different. I'm living in a completely different city. Like some of you guys have told you before, I'm living with my in-laws because they're helping take care of the kids, and they've got a pool and a yard, and so we're all in different. And I try to make a little background here. I got a couple different things from Look. This I think is so cute for you guys if you want to see it. This quote I thought was incredible, and I said, like, oh my God, that's perfect. Beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. So that's going to be in the backdrop of every single one of my interviews and videos, because I resonated so much with that quote. It's Coco Chanel, and now I have a beautiful little poster of it, and it's my favorite, like that rose color, and then also this one up here. It's like a girl. I'm like, yeah, that's me one day. I want to be wearing a Gucci top and a Chanel bag and hold coffee and look super, super chic. Like, that's my goals, right? Who doesn't want to look like that? So anyways, I got some little paintings and stuff to spruce up this. I took over my mother-in-law's office. So but anyways, if you enjoy this, comment below on the YouTube channel. Come visit me here. But also, if you're doing that exercise with the numbers and everything, tag me on Instagram at Beauty in the Vlog. I want to hear from you. I want to hang out with you. I want to get to know you guys. DM me if you have questions at all about the bootcamp, about my coaching. If you have questions, if you want to tell me who I should have on the podcast. I love chatting in DMs. I am a talker. As an extrovert, I have to say this whole stay-at-home thing is a little challenging, but I'm so grateful for my bootcamp community, for my calls, for my friends that I talk to online. I talk to so many of you guys on Instagram DMs. I know a lot of you guys here have gotten voice chats from me. I love it. I love hanging out with you guys. So don't be shy, at Beauty in the Vlog. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in next week's episode. Like I said, next week is Angie from Hot and Flashy, if I'm correct. I might be wrong, but she's coming up. So I'm super excited about her because I'm a big fan of hers, and it was a great interview. All right, guys. Mwah.